Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of our session on iconography. Today we are going to discuss the iconography of Navagraha. So far we have covered the basics, Vishnu iconography, Shiva, Shakti and Ganesh iconography. Today we'll be talking about Navagrahas. Is my screen visible and am I clearly audible? Yes? Okay. Just So Navagrahas or 9 planets of the Indian astrology and astronomy system. There's like in Western traditions, there's a lot of difference between the two. But in Indian tradition, astronomy and astrology have a very thin line. When it comes to Navgrahas, we don't go by this usual planets that we learn in our school. But for us, Navagrahas include Surya, Chandra, uh, Budh, Shukra, Mangal, Guru, Shani, and two planets which are nodes, Rahu and Ketu. So the history of the word graha is that the first graha which was status or word was used for Rahu and Ketu. The story comes from Samudra Manthan times, that during Samudra Manthan, Amrit was God Dhanvantri came out of the ocean holding Amrit Kumbh, and there was a fight between Sura and Asur, that is Devtas and demons, about who will drink Amrit first. So then Lord Vishnu took Mohini Swarup and he, with his celestial dance, he infatuated everyone. And on one side, Deva said, on other side, Danava said, Asuras, the demon said, and he started distributing Amrit to the Devtas first. And the way he was distributing Amrit, by the time it ended, their Danavas would not receive Amrit. So there was one demon who realized this that maybe Vishnu is not going to give Amrit to demons, and that is when that is when he set in the line of the Devtas. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to find his name. His name is Swarabhanu. So the demon called Swarabhanu was there in the line of Devtas, and that is when Surya and Chandra realized this and complained to everyone that this is a demon who's sitting with us. But by that time, some drops of Amrit had already gone inside his body. So Vishnu Bhagwan immediately cut his head from his torso using Sudarshan Chakra, but because he had ingested Amrit, he did not die, and his head and his body survived separately, and the head is called Rahu, the body is called Ketu. Now, all the other 7 grahas have their planetary forms, or rather celestial forms, but Rahu and Ketu are the nodes where the orbits of Sun, Moon and Earth, they coincide. Those nodes are called Rahu and Ketu. The ascending node is called Rahu, the descending node is called Ketu. So it is believed that Rahu is standing at that node, so that whenever the sun and the moon and the earth align, he either eats sun or he eats the moon, depending on whether it is solar eclipse or whether it is lunar eclipse. And grahan, graha is the Sanskrit word for eating something. So Rahu eats these planets. That is why it is called grahan. And that is why Rahu and Ketu were given the names of graha. From that, we got the words graha. And this is the story of the word of how Navgrahas, the word graha came into being. So when it comes to Vedic and Puranic literature, earliest references of grahas are found in Vedic and Puranic literature. Earliest reference of sun is found in the hymn 1.115 of Rigved. We will talk individually about this when we talk about all the grahas one by one. He is eldest of the Adityas. Chandra, usually known as Som, the whole ninth mandala of Rigved is devoted to him. Buddha is mentioned in Padma Puran. He also appears in Vedic text, Panchavamsa Brahman, and other texts like Shatpat Brahman. Brihaspati has been mentioned in Rigved. Some scholars believe that he is Brahmanaspati is the word used. So some scholars believe that this is about Brihaspati. Some scholars believe that this is some different entity. He is associated with fire and regarded as a deity who serves as divine counselor. Brihaspati is Guru, and in modern world we also call it Jupiter. Shukra is bright. Venus, the preceptor, Acharya of Asuras, and he taught them Vedas, and he is also associated with Mrit Sanjeevani Vidya. Mangal means auspicious as per Rigved. Patanjali and Panini's grammar says that Mangal means auspicious, something that is good. We have a lot of verses saying Mangalacharan, Shubh Mangal Savdan. So Mangal is a good word. It got popular in Puranic literature in Varaha and Markandeya Puran, and there's also Mangal Kavacham there. Orbits of Earth at nodes, not suns. Okay. So basically where the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse happens. So those nodes are Rahu and Ketu. Thank you, sir. Next, Shani. The word Shani means slow because Shani walks slowly. His name appears in Puranic literature like Brahma Vaivarta and Harivansh, and also later versions of Ramayana, and a lot of folk stories are associated with Shani Dev or Shanishwar. Rahu and Ketu are shadow planets. They were created during Samudra Manthan, and this story appears in Mahabharata, Bhagavad, also in Shiv Puran and Agni Puran, and a lot of other texts. So let's start with the iconography of Navagrahas. Now, in Hinduism, Navagrahas or 9 planets, they are not just there in the universe around us, but they have a significant influence on a person's life or destiny. That is why I said that astrology and astronomy are very deeply linked when it comes to Hinduism. Each planet is believed to have its own characteristics and qualities that can affect an individual's fortune or fate. The benevolent planets are Surya, Chandra, Buddha, and Guru or Brihaspati, and the planets which are considered to have malefic influence are Shani, Rahu, Ketu, and Shukra. Mangal has its influence depending on the time, your situation, and position. Mangal, as per se, they say is not a bad planet, but when the energy that you derive from it, if it increases to a lot more, then there could be some troubles in the life of that person. So this is how it is usually classified. We will not go into the astrology and the effects of each planet. What I said is a very, very general statement. To honor and appease these celestial bodies, Hindus worship them in temples where special images or icons are installed in their representation. When a child is born, there are lots of doshas in that kundli, and we perform Navagraha Puja depending on whatever kind of dosh is there. So these icons are made of various materials like stone, metal, wood, clay, and placed in separate enclosure or shrine within temple premises. So in a lot of temples, as side temples, you will find Navagraha temples. So these this is Depiction of Navagrahas from Bihar, India, 10th century AD, currently in San Diego Museum of Art. From left to right, Surya, Chandra, Mangal, Budh, Brihaspati. Brihaspati can be identified with his pot belly. It's they do not say that it is pot bellied, but wherever I have found a depiction of Brihaspati, it is kind of always like that. Shukra, Shani, he has been hit on his foot. We will talk about the story of Shani when it comes there. And Rahu, the head, and Ketu, the body, depicted sometimes with a fish tail. Let's start with Surya iconography. Surya iconography is a bit longer than the rest of the grahas because Surya is also called the king of all grahas. In various ancient civilizations, not just Hindu civilization, sun was personified as a divine being, symbolizing life, light, order, and kingship. Like he had different names. In Egyptian civilization, he was called Ra. In Greek, he was called Helios. In Roman civilization, he was named as Sol. And in Indian and Iranian civilization, he was called Mitra. And the symbolism surrounding these deities often overlapped. In Rig Veda, you find 10 hymns which are there in praise of him. There are a lot of alternate names and epithets which include Vivaswat, that is brilliant, Savitra, the nourisher, Bhaskar, light maker, Dinakar, day maker, Lokachakshu, eye of the world, Graharaj, king of constellations, and Sahasra Kirana, that is one with 1,000 rays. Vishnu, who later largely replaces Surya's function in Hindu pantheon, is referred to as Surya Narayan in his incarnation as the sun. Now, Surya and Adityas. What are Adityas? They are the 12 sons of Kashyap Rishi and Mata Aditi. So these 12 sons are collectively known as Adityas. Surya is the eldest Aditya, Vivaswat among them, and Indra and Vishnu are the youngest. Vishnu is the youngest Aditya, and Indra is the second youngest. That is what is written in our scriptures. In the later Vedic period, Surya was replaced in importance by deities such as Shiva, Vishnu, and later on Shakti. Surya also appears in the important Gayatri mantra from the Vedas, which is recited on a daily basis and considered holy by the Hindus. Like even in my daughter recites Gayatri mantra every day in her school. So that is one mantra that she knows very well. So from Vedic times till today, Gayatri mantra. Yes, Vishnu's name is Upendra because he is the youngest of Adityas. Surya Vansh is like the Surya, then his children. Ram is mentioned in Ramayana because Ram Bhagwan is considered to be Surya Vanshi. And when he, Aditya Hriday Stotram is there in Mahabharata when Ram Bhagwan was there and he was somewhere in Tamil Nadu near Rameshwaram and he had to defeat Ravan. And at that point, he was stuck somewhere and a Rishi came and advised him. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of Rishi. He advised him to pray to Sun God and he recites the Aditya Hriday Stotram and then the fight continues. Aditya Hriday Stotram for anyone who has any issues related to sun in their kundli, Aditya Hriday Stotram is spoken. As such for worship, it is still spoken in a lot of homes in India. So which it comes from Ramayana. Now, the cult worship of sun was also prevalent in other parts of the world, parallelly in Greek, Roman, Iranian civilizations. So we see a lot of influence of these civilizations when it comes to iconography of Surya. So here, if you see, Surya is seen wearing gumboots and then a long cape like what the Superman has. So this is what was worn by the Iranians and the civilizations around him. This West girdle. So these are elements which are taken from their clothes. It can be seen in our descriptions of Surya and also depictions. Surya's iconography depicts him typically as riding a single-wheeled chariot called Makardwaj, pulled by 7 horses, and his charioteer Arun. Arun has half body. He has his upper body, his lower body is not there. His attire varies regionally. In northern Indian depictions, he is shown with a long coat and boots reflecting Persian Iranian influence. Like he has the Iranian coat, high boots, Scythian headdress, like what we used to see when it comes to depiction of Spartans in today's movies. The girdle around the waist. While South Indian images show him with bare legs, they have lesser influence of this. Brihad Samhita, one of the earliest texts, states that Surya should be made with Auditya features, that is this northern this Persian Iranian influence features. He should wear a long pearl necklace and a viyang or a sacred waist girdle around his waist, which you can see very clearly here in this image. Apart from this, the Agamas Anshum Bhedgama, Supra Bhedgama, and Purva Karasna Agama contains the prescriptions for the construction of sun images. Construction of sun images. Surya has 2 hands having full-blown lotuses. Now, one of the features to identify Surya is that he usually is shown with 2 lotuses in both of his hands. He holds 1 lotus. Especially after 6th, 7th century, that is how he has been depicted. His garment should be of red color. He should wear a karand mukata, like bowls stacked on top, of inverted bowls stacked on top of each other. On the right side of Surya, there should stand Usha, and on left side, Pratyusha. Now, for Usha and Pratyusha, they are called sometimes his attendants, sometimes his consorts, sometimes they are also called his daughters. So depending on what scripture you are reading, they are mentioned that way. His wives are Sanjana and Chhaya. So it's believed that Sanjana, when she married Surya, she was not able to bear the high temperature. So she created Chhaya, and from there she was so that she was able to bear the hot heat of sun. Now, Shani is considered to be the son of Chhaya, and there's a story. Now, it's later edition, so I take it with a pinch of salt. That Sanjana, well, just like the story of Dhruv, Shani is sitting in the lap of his father Surya, and Sanjana pushes him down that you shouldn't sit here because you are not my son. She is the stepmother. So Shani falls down and he gets hit in his leg, and that is why he is crippled. So that is why he walks slowly. Now Usha and Pratyusha here are shown shooting arrows to dispel darkness, and his attendants Danda and Pingala are shown holding a rod, and Pingala is shown holding a pan and an ink pot. So this is a 2nd century depiction of Surya in a Buddhist relief at Bodh Gaya, and it is believed to be one of the earliest known depictions of Surya. Here you can see Surya with his with Usha and Pratyusha, and he is riding on a 1-wheeled chariot. Here you can see the horses going in different directions. Carving of Surya at Bhaja caves in Maharashtra. 2nd century Satwan dynasty. Again, you see him depicted with Usha and Pratyusha. And the wheels of the chariot Makardwaj are believed to be the wheels of time. So this is actually a depiction in a Buddhist cave. Surya has been present in all religions, in all regions as a god. So his depictions overlap in all civilizations. This is a 9th century Gurjar Pratihar depiction, which is currently in Mathura Museum. Surya is depicted holding two lotuses on his both sides. He is in a half-seated posture, and he is wearing gumboots, the Iranian influence, on a chariot. Here is his charioteer Arun below. I don't know if you're able to see my pointing. So here is Arun. Is it visible if I point? And here are the 7 horses. Yeah, the name of the 7 horses are Gayatri, Brihati, Ushni, Jagati, Trishtup, Anushtup, and Pankti. Okay. So he's accompanied by Usha and Pratyusha here. And they are they are sending arrows to dispel the darkness. This is a 13th century sculpture from Eastern Ganga dynasty. This is from Orissa, and it was made by Narsimha I. This was present in the Garbhagruh of Konark temple in Orissa, Konark Sun temple, and currently it is there in National Museum in Delhi. Here also you can see 2 lotuses, although the hands are broken, with Dand, Pengala, and in middle you can see on the sides Usha and Pratyusha. Below are the 7 horses, and near his feet you can see his charioteer Arun. These are sun images from Konark. This is an image from Bhaktapur where he's seen sitting in his chariot. There's Arun in front and 7 horses, and surrounding there are depictions of the other 8 grahas in circles like a halo around him. Next, we move on to the 8 other grahas. I think it will take a little bit of more time today because we have to cover iconography of 8 grahas. Let's start with Chandra. After Surya, Chandra or moon. The word Chandra is derived from Sanskrit root Chand, which means to shine or give light. The moon is known as Chandra due to its ability to reflect sunlight and light up the sky. Now, in Hindu mythology, Chandra is often depicted as a young, handsome man with a glowing aura, holding a lotus flower in one hand and a club in other. The lotus flower represents beauty, while club symbolizes strength. But this depiction changes in a lot of places as well. The different names of Chandra are Indu, Atrisut, Shashin, Taradhip, Nishakar, Nakshatrapati, Aushadhipati, Uduraj or Udupati, Kumundanath, and Udu. Now, Soma is the word that has been used for him in Vedas, and Soma is actually a plant from which the juice of the plant becomes somras, and somras plays a very important role in description of the Devtas. Now, in Rigved, Soma is described as the lord of plants and forests. That's why the name Aushadhipati. And the king of rivers and earth, the father of gods. And one entire book or mandal, the 9th mandal of Rigved, is devoted to Soma, both the deity as well as the plant. Now, some scholars debate the association of Soma with moon, but there is some evidence in later Vedic hymns that slowly the transition came from plant deity to lunar deity. Like if you remember when we talked about Saraswati, initially she was the goddess of rivers and then she became the goddess of literature. So similarly, this shift happened, and it is still a topic that is debated. In Puranic literature, Chandra has been associated with a lot of myths and legends, like he was wedded to 27 daughters of Daksha and Rohini was his favorite. So he did not spend time with other daughters, because of which Daksh placed a curse on him. To break free from that curse, Shivji said that I cannot break the curse, but you will increase and decrease in your strength on different days, which becomes the lunar cycle, the Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. Another legend is that Chandra abducted the beautiful wife of Brihaspati, who was named Tara, and their children later became Chandravanshis. Kauravas, who like the Kuru Vansh mentioned in Mahabharata, the Kauravas, Pandavas, all of them are Chandravanshis. They are the descendants of sun, descendants of the moon and Tara. Now, this also led to a war between gods and demons, and then Chandra was punished. So, a lot of different stories are there in Puranas about why he increases and decreases in size on different days of the month. Is this visible? Just give me a moment. Is this better now? More visible? Uh, if we talk about Chandra's iconography, now there are different depictions. Initially, he was depicted with a club in one hand and a lotus flower or a kundika in one hand. But with the time, the iconography changed. Also, his mount is believed to be 10 horses or a chariot drawn by 10 horses, and sometimes he is shown associated with black buck antelopes, harin, which is why in Shiva iconography, I had told that sometimes moon is replaced with hiran, a deer, an antelope in the hands of Shiva. So this association comes from there, because sometimes it is believed that his you can see here, it's first century before Christ, a Shunga period depiction of Chandra in West Bengal, Chandra with his wife Rohini on a single-wheeled chariot, and antelopes are pulling that chariot. So it is often depicted, he is often depicted standing or sitting on a simhasan. His complexion should be pure white with a prabha mandal or a halo surrounding his head, adorned with various ornaments, a garland of flowers, and clothed in white garments. Associated with blackbuck antelopes, and some texts describe him on a 10-horse chariot. In his two hands, he holds white water lilies, while the golden Yajnopavit is shown on his chest. His countenance should be beautiful and peaceful. But in different times, there have been changes in depiction of all the grahas. In different, like in Kushan period, it was different. After Gupta period, it changed. In medieval era, also the mounts, whatever the ayudha or attributes they are holding in hands, have changed for a lot for all the grahas. The Matsya Puran states that Chandra should be seated in a chariot drawn by 10 horses, holding a gada in his right hand and his left hand in Varada pose, like giving boons to devotees. According to Shilparatna, he should be depicted in a chariot with 10 horses, and two goddesses, Kanti and Shobha, should be there on his right and left. Like if you see in this depiction, it's an 18th century drawing from Mewar, Udaipur. The moon goddess sitting on a chariot drawn by antelopes, and behind him Kanti and Shobha are standing. The lion banner of Chandra should be placed on his left as well. Now, according to Agni Puran, Chandra is shown with Kundika, a water pot, and Akshamala, rosary beads. Sometimes an Amrit Kumbh is also shown in his hand, and he is flanked by Rohini, his wife. So if it is one, it is Rohini, and if it is two, then it is Kanti and Shobha. Now, this is iconography of Chandra. He is holding lotuses. He is sitting on a single wheel chariot drawn by 10 horses. This is a 13th century depiction of Chandra. He is holding Akshamala in his right hand, and in his left hand, he is holding a Kundika or a water pot. Next planet that we will talk about is Guru or Brihaspati. So I've taken all the benevolent planets first. In Hinduism, Brihaspati or Guru is considered to be the most benevolent of all planets. Brihaspati is believed to be the teacher of all Devatas. And that's why he is worshipped as god of wisdom, knowledge, and education. So Dev Guru is Brihaspati. Asur Guru is Shukra or Shukracharya, which will come later on. This is how Brihaspati looks. Like I mentioned, you can see he is a bit pot-bellied. He is holding Akshamala and Kundika in his hand. This is a part of the Navagraha stele. I showed Chandra earlier. This is from Konark. Currently, it is, I guess, if I remember correctly, it is in British Museum. So in Hindu literature, he is mentioned in several texts from Rigved, Mahabharata to Puranas. He is also the father of Dronacharya. And Puranas describe him as a benevolent deity who bestows good fortune and prosperity upon his devotees. This is a 12th century AD depiction of Brihaspati from Bengal. He is holding scriptures. So just like Brahmaji and Saraswati were shown holding Vedas or Pustak, Brihaspati and Shukra, Guru and Shukra are also shown holding scriptures in their hands at times because they are Dev Guru and Asur Guru. So because they are teachers, they are also shown holding scriptures in their hands, and his right hand is in Abhay Mudra. Now, in iconography, Brihaspati is depicted as a deity with yellow or golden complexion. So, the color yellow is associated with Guru. He is usually shown wearing yellow garments and adorned with gold jewelry. So, on Mondays, it is white. On Sundays, it is red. And on Thursdays, the color is yellow. His vehicle is a chariot drawn by 8 horses. According to Shilpa Shastras, he should be holding Kundika, Akshamala, Pustak, Dand, a staff, and a lotus. Sometimes he is also shown with a pot of som or amrit. He rides on an elephant or he sits on a lotus in Vajrayana tradition. His symbols are rosary and kamandal. And sometimes his vehicle is also the frog or the skull. So you can see him sitting on a lotus with an Akshamala on one side. Here you can see a scripture, Akshamala, and this is a pot, and he's sitting on a chariot drawn by 8 horses. Okay. So he is always shown adorned in golden colored clothes with golden red adornments. Now this is a 19th century painting of Brihaspati who's shown riding an elephant. Next is Buddh. He is associated with Wednesday. If you want to talk about planets, Brihaspati or Guru is Jupiter and Buddh is Mercury. Now, in the previous story where we saw that Chandra abducted the wife Tara, the wife of Brihaspati, The son who was born to him is Buddha. Now, there are a lot of stories which says that Brihaspati say that my manly, because you are not my son, you will not be a man. And he was so because of this, every month, Booth changes his gender. Sometimes he becomes a man, sometimes he becomes a woman. There's also a story that he was cursed by an apsara, that you do not understand the emotions of women. So every month you will change your gender so that you can understand the emotions of women. There are some lot of folklores associated with this. Now, Booth is said to be the he is the forefather of the demon ruler Ravan, who is the main antagonist in Hindu epic Ramayana. Now, if we talk about iconography, now there are a lot of folklores. Some say Chandravanshi, some say Ravan's lineage. So different Puranas, and especially the ones added later on, and the different scriptures with different folklores are there. Some of them overlap and give completely different stories. So that is how it is. In iconography, Buddha is depicted as a youthful deity with 4 arms, holding a club, shield, lotus, and a book. He is usually shown riding a lion or a chariot drawn by 8 horses. His complexion is said to be green, representing the color of the planet Mercury. He is often depicted in a beautiful form and associated with creativity, intelligence, and knowledge. So this is how he is depicted. Benevolent male god with a green body draped into yellow clothes, holding a scimitar, a club, a gada, and a shield. And he's riding a chariot drawn by 8 yellow horses, and sometimes riding a lion, and he has a 4 arms. And in Buddha temple, he is depicted riding a lion usually. This is another depiction of Buddha. As you can see, the green color associated with him. Next is Bhauma or Mars. Mars is believed to be the son of Earth, and that is why you see him a lot of words like Bhauma or Puja. He's the son of goddess Earth and Lord Vishnu, and he has a lot of names like Angarak, Mangal, Lohitang. Lohitang is the color of iron, the red colored. So red color is associated with Mars, and Bhauma or Bangal is worshipped as the god of war, bravery, and victory. He is also believed to be the planet of passion, energy, and desire. There is mention of Bhaum in Rigved, Atharvaved, and Puranas. In Rigved, he is referred to as Angarak, like one who is burning like a coal, and he is associated with the deity Indra, who is the god of war and storms. In Atharvaved, he is referred to as Kuj, that is the fair one, and is associated with the deity Rudra, who is the god of storms, hunting, and healing. In Puranas, he is associated, he is believed to have a significant impact on human life, and there are some Puranas which say that he was born from the sweat of Lord Shiva, like Lord Shiva was in a penance and some of his sweat fell down. From that, Bhauma was born. He is believed to have fierce nature and is associated with color red. This is the depiction of Bhaum, red colored. Bhauma is depicted as a red colored warrior with 4 arms, riding a ram, a bull, or a chariot drawn by 8 horses. You can see, a ram is more like a ship. In some depictions, Bhaum is shown holding a lotus or a spear, and the image or icon should be of red color, reminiscent of fire. It should have 4 arms with one of the right hands in Abhay pose and other in Varat pose. Okay, So if you see here, one is in Abhay pose, one is in Varat pose. Here you can see him holding a spear and a club or gada, and one hand is in Varat pose, the other hand, the left hand is in Abhay pose, and he is seated on a ram. Now, in some scriptures, it is mentioned that in one right hand he should hold a weapon called Sakti, and in the left hand he should carry Gada, a mace-like weapon, a shul, or sometimes also a trishul. And he should be wearing garlands of red color and draped in red garments. He is associated with several animals like the ram, the goat, and the boar, and they are believed to symbolize courage, strength, and resilience, which are the qualities that Bhaum represents. Clear so far? Still with me? Okay. So now let's go to the. So far we covered Surya, Chandra, Brihaspati, Budh, and Om or Mangal. Next, let's discuss the iconography of the four malefic, four planets whose influence is considered to be more malefic, more malevolent. Shani is considered to be one of the most powerful and feared planets, and they say that usually the influence of other planets goes away in few months, 2 years, 3 years max. But because Shani works very slowly, it is 7.5 years, Sade Sati. And Shani is given usually two tasks. One is that he causes bad impact on people's life, and another is he's a justice giver. According to your karma, you will get good or bad impacts. And Shani Shingnapur temple in Maharashtra has always been a very famous temple, just like the Konark temple of sun. Now he's considered to be the son of Surya god and his wife Chaya, and he is the brother of Yam. He is also known as the god of justice and is associated with karma, the law of cause and effect. So he judges one's karma and is responsible for rewarding or punishing them based on their deeds. If we talk about his iconography, he is depicted in Hindu iconography as a dark-skinned deity with a fierce countenance, wearing black robes, and he could be seen riding a vulture or a crow, and sometimes even a buffalo is associated with it, or a bull. Like in different eras, different animals have been associated with him, or a chariot drawn by 8 black horses. So depending on which scripture, Puran, Shastra, Agam, the depiction changes, or which dynasty. He is shown holding a sword and a shield or bow and arrow in his hands. The planet Saturn is represented by a black oval-shaped stone known as Shani Ratna or Shetan gemstone. So here you can see it's a vulture. Sometimes it's also shown as a crow. You can see a spear in his hand, and a bow and arrow is also shown sometimes. So both weapons are associated with him. Here you can see him with his wife. She's sometimes called Nilima. So Neelam Ratna is associated with Shani in Hindu astrology. So here it's a crow, not a vulture. Shukra, Venus, Shani is Saturn, Shukra is Venus. And Shukra is considered to be parallel to Venus or Aphrodite, the goddess of love and fertility in the Greek and Roman mythologies. Now he is considered to be the son of great sage Bhrigu, and he is the guru of asuras or demons. He is associated with luxury, beauty, love, wealth, and happiness. And he is also associated with arts, particularly music. So sometimes you might find that in some Guru Parampara of artists, Shukracharya is worshipped as a deity. He's mentioned in several ancient texts like Rigved, Atharved, Mahabharat. And in Mahabharata, he is described as a great sage who has mastery over the art of warfare. He is also credited with teaching asuras the art of warfare and healing. According to Rigved, Shukra is associated with dawn, early morning. And he is said to be the light that illuminates the path of Bhartiyas. Now see, this is not to be confused with sun, because demons live in Patal Lok where the sun does not reach. So Shukra is the one who gives them light and guidance. So that is why he is associated with dawn in Rigved. So there's one very famous story about Shukracharya and Sanjeevani Vidya, that there was war between Devas, Asuras, and he was constantly regenerating. He was constantly giving life back to Asuras because of Sanjeevani Vidya. So Brihaspati sent his son Kacha to serve as a disciple under Shukra, and after serving Shukra for 1,000 years, he was finally able to get some place near to Shukra. His daughter Devyani fell in love with him. So multiple times the Asuras killed Kacha because they were suspicious that why this son of Brihaspati has come here. He must have not come with good intentions. So every time they used to kill him, Shukracharya used to revive him using Sanjeevani Vidya. But one time they killed him, burnt him, and his ashes were mixed in the drink which they gave, in the wine which they gave to Shukracharya. So when Devyani tells him that Kacha is again dead and missing, he realizes that Kacha is there in his stomach. So now he cannot use Sanjeevani Vidya. So that is when he teaches Sanjeevani Vidya to Kacha, that now you learn it, and then Kacha comes out of is revived. He revives himself and comes out from his stomach. But then he refuses to marry Devyani because he says that now that I am born from your father, we have become siblings. So Devyani curses him that you will never be able to use your Sanjeevani Vidya, but you can teach it to others and they will be able to use it. So when Kacha comes out, Shukracharya dies, but then he uses again Sanjeevani Vidya to revive Shukracharya. So that is how the story goes. Iconography of Shukra. Shukra is usually depicted with 4 arms holding a scripture, as I said, because he is the guru of Asuras, a pot of jewels, or with 2 arms holding a book and a pot, or making a Varad Mudra. He is often shown seated on a lotus flower. You will find lotus flower associated with a lot in Hinduism, because lotus grows from muddy waters. So lotus symbolizes purity in spite of everything that's around. So that is why we see a lot of depiction of lotus in Hinduism. And he's often seen riding a white horse. He is associated with color white. Diamond is associated with Shukra, and he's often depicted wearing white clothes and adorned with white flowers. Sometimes he is depicted in fine silken garments, often in vibrant yellow and red with gold detailing, but not every time. Okay, so let's take a look at Shukra. This is how it is. Here you can see him again with, in this depiction, mostly everyone is holding Akshamala. All the planets are holding Akshamala and Kundika. This is a Konark depiction of 9 planets. Currently, it is not there in India. And you can see him sitting on a flower. It is not lotus, but a different kind of flower. He's holding a pot here. Next is Rahu. So we started today's session with the story of Rahu, like during Samudra Manthan, what happened. Then the head is called Rahu, the body is called Ketu. So a shadow planet which does not have a physical body, but rather an astronomical point in the sky. This is a 6th century terracotta sculpture of Rahu in Mathura Museum. You can see his angry demon form, the large eyes. Here you can see the fangs, the pointed teeth coming out of his mouth, and a mustache is there. There is in Skanda Puran and Padma Puran, there is a different narrative that Rahu incurred the wrath of Shiva when he attempted the force of the god, when he attempted to force the god to give up his wife Parvati to the demon king Jalandhar. So Shiva punished him that you eat your own limbs, leaving only your head intact. So that is why only his head remained and he had to eat rest of his body. This is also a different story, is a story from Skanda Puran and Padma Puran. Now in Western India, Rahu is typically portrayed as a bust or head without any adjoining hands. But in some Orisian depictions on the eastern side, he's featuring an oversized head, and sometimes you also see him with his 2 hands. There is no lower body. Like if you see here, Rahu, you can see his demon features, but he has hands, and in his hands he is holding the cut parts of sun in one hand and moon in other hand, which symbolize the eclipse, that he has eaten the rest of the planet. He is often also depicted as a serpent's head on a chariot drawn by 8 black horses. Sometimes he is shown holding a sword or lance, when he is shown with hands, showing his aggressive nature. Now, Shilparatna suggests that Rahu should be depicted sitting on a simhasan, a lion throne, or sometimes on a lion having 3 tails, while Vishnu Dharmottar Puran recommends a silver chariot pulled by 8 horses as his seat. The number of arms of Rahu also differs. It should only be head. Sometimes if he has arms, then he has 4 arms with one hand in Varat pose and other 3 holding Khadak, Khetak and Shula. Whereas Vishnu Dharmottar Puran says that if he is shown with arms, he should only have 2 arms, holding a book and a woolen blanket in his right hand and nothing in the left hands. So this is how he is depicted. And his mount is believed to be a black colored lion. Ketu is the headless body of the demon Rahu, who was beheaded by Lord Vishnu in his Mohini Swarup during Samudra Manthan when Amrit was distributed. Ketu is often depicted as a serpent or a dragon with a long tail. So if like in the earlier depiction of Navagraha, which I showed you, he is shown with a fish tail or a serpent tail kind of thing. And his name means flag or banner in Sanskrit. The iconography of Ketu is again different in different sources. In some depictions, he is shown as a serpent with multiple heads and a body without limbs. Sometimes he is depicted as having a dark complexion and 2 arms. One hand is in Abhay Mudra, while the other holds a gada or a mace. Now, Ketu is usually depicted riding on a kite bird, like similar to vulture and eagle. There is a bird called kite. According to Vishwakarma Shilp, Ketu's appearance should be similar to Bhauma, like Mangal Graha, but his chariot should be drawn by 10 horses. So this is how his depiction is, sitting on a kite. Now this is somewhere between 10th to 12th century AD. This is Shani. You can see him slightly limping with Rahu and Ketu. Below Shani, if you see here, below Ketu, you can see a bird. Below Rahu, there is a wheel or a chariot of a chariot, and beside that, there is a frog, which is the vehicle for Shukra, and beside that is a buffalo, which probably is for the god which was there on the side of Shukra, which has been cut. The stone has been cut. Okay. Another depiction of Ketu, which from Jawahar Kala Kendra, Jaipur, where he is depicted as someone without his body and a serpent tail. So, sorry, someone without his head and a serpent tail, with a flag, spear, and hitak, a shield in his hands. So that was all about the Graha iconography from my end. Thank you.